now we're gonna do one project. First, we're gonna deploy a Docker file, then Docker container, then we're gonna push that Docker container to a Docker hub. Okay, we're gonna deploy the whole project only on Docker. Okay, so now how to create a simple web application. Okay, how to create a simple architecture, how can we create a simple application. There are multiple steps. Okay, now first thing is ideation. Ideation means how you can create one idea for creating an application, okay, that provides value to your users. Okay, second thing, designing and wireframing. Sketch out the user interface, how can the user can able to interact with the application, sketch out all of those things. So the next thing is development or deployment. Okay, after the ideation and designing, you're gonna do a deployment or a development to your code that you have thought, that you have created an architecture. You're gonna do it on a practical way, maintainable code using a preferable programming language and a frameworks. Okay, you're gonna decide a service, Nginx, Apache, a programming code in which you want to build your application. Now the next thing, how can we containerize the Docker file into the container? Okay, first we need to create a Docker file. To build a Docker file, we need to have an application. Okay, in that application, Docker file will be implemented. With the help of Docker, yum install Docker, we can create a Docker file. Okay, then build a Docker image. After creating a Docker file, with the help of Docker file, we can create a Docker image. Okay, then the last thing, test the container. Run the container locally to ensure it works as expected. We're gonna do all of these things in a coming project. Okay, now the next thing, building and pushing your Docker image or Docker container to a Docker hub. What is Docker hub? Docker hub is basically an environment that is provided by a Docker for all over the world who are using a Docker. Okay, you can easily create, manage and update your image in a Docker hub, and publicly, locally, all the collaboration developers and many of the cloud persons can able to take your image and use for their deployment. Okay, so how can we do this? Build a Docker image. Okay, as we have seen in the previous slide. Then we're gonna tag the image. How can we tag that? There is one particular command to tag an image. We're gonna see that also. Then push to the Docker hub. Okay, for this we need a Docker hub account. Okay, what are the conclusion and next steps we're gonna do? Okay, as per the lecture introduction, what we have learned, what we have done, what key aspects all can take by this lecture. First, how to create a Docker file, how to push your container to the Docker hub. Okay, how can we create a simple application? Okay, so these all are the three keywords that you all can take as a conclusion for this lecture. The next step will be creating all of those things in a practical manner. Okay, so that's all. Okay, so as we have seen in the previous lecture, that how to create a Docker file, how to create a containerization, then putting a containerization to a Docker hub. Okay, so now we're gonna do all of these things practically. Let's start with the practical now. Okay, so for this, first we need an EC2 instance. Okay, that EC2 instance should have all traffic allowed. Okay, as we are doing this in all the practicals, we need to do in this also, allow all traffic to the EC2 instance, as we have seen in AWS also. Now we're gonna create one IAM role. That IAM role should contains an administrator access. Go to the IAM, then click on roles. Okay, now click on roles, create roles. In that, select an EC2. Now provide an administrator access. Okay, then click on next. Put a role name EC2-admin. You can put anything. Just create a role and attach this role to the EC2 instance. Okay, create role. Now we're gonna attach this to EC2 instance security. Modify IAM role. Click on IAM role. Your created IAM role. Just click on it. Then update an IAM role. Okay. Now we're gonna connect to a server and start deploying our application. For this, first we need to install an npm package. Okay, first we'll create an mkdir my node app. Okay, then I'll go to that directory. Mkdir I have created a directory. Then I'm gonna go to that directory, cd my node app. Okay, as you can see over here, we are in this directory right now. Now we're gonna install npm package, that is node.js package. Our application will gonna host on this package. Okay, now click on yes. The application has been installed. Now we're gonna create an init-y. Okay, this is also an npm package that we need to do to install. Okay, now we're gonna install npm install express. This is a package that we need to install. That application should run properly. Okay, now our application has been downloading. As you can see over here, npm has been having a found 0 vulnerabilities. Okay, now we want to create an application file app.js. Okay, in this we want to create an application. Now the application code is, this is my code, hello world. It will gonna show the hello world that will be run on custom port, that is 3000. Okay, I have pasted my code. We're gonna save this file and then we're gonna provide it with a permission, chmod 755 execution permission. Then we're gonna run this code. The command is node app.js. Node means it will gonna run my node. Okay, basically the application that I have created over here. Node app.js. Okay, so now my application has been installed. As you can see, example app listening on HTTP localhost, but we're gonna copy a public IP colon then a port number. As you can see over here, I'm gonna copy a public IP over here. Then as our application is running on a custom port, we're gonna put colon and 3000. Okay, then I can see that hello page world is coming. As you can see over here, I had put colon. My application has been hosted on app.js. Okay, now you can see that my application has been created. Now we're gonna create that application's Docker file, then container, then Docker hub. Okay, now we're gonna install a Docker over here. The Docker installation has been completed. Now we're gonna start the service, systemctl start Docker. Okay, then we're gonna create a Docker file. Okay, now we have an application file. Now we're gonna create a Docker file. After that, we're gonna create a application vi Docker file. Okay, this is my Docker file content. Okay, the same application now we're gonna host on a Docker file. As you can see, the port is also same and the output will also be the same. Okay, my application has been created. Now I'm gonna provide a chmod 755 permission to my Docker file. Okay, after that I'm gonna run my file. Docker build -t my node app. Okay, this will gonna build my Docker file. As you can see over here, the starting building Docker file has been started. Okay, as you can see, building 2.7 seconds. This all is a my Docker file has been creating over here. Okay, now it will gonna create my Docker file. After that, this application will gonna convert in a Docker image. Okay, as you can see, the application is image. As you can see, Docker images. Okay, my node app has been running. My first I had created app.js, then app.js has been converted to the Docker file. Okay, then my Docker file has been converted to the Docker image. As you can see, when I'm putting a Docker image, my node app image has been created and it is running now. Now we're gonna check that application is running on Docker image or not. Okay, we used to get the same output that we had got in the app.js. Okay, now I'm gonna Docker run -p my node app. Okay, this will gonna show me the same output because the Docker file that we have created is of a same app.js. My application has been listing. As you can see over here, now I'm gonna same copy my IP address and colon 3000. This will gonna show my application. As you can see, we have put it in browser. Enter. Okay, so my image is working properly. My Docker file has been created. My application image has been created properly. Now we're gonna create a containerization for that. Okay. So for stopping a Docker file, okay, we need to take another session of our EC2 instance. Over there, we're gonna stop with the Docker file because in the server session in which the application is running, we cannot enter any of the command further. That's why we need to create another session. Over here, we're gonna stop a Docker image. Docker ps. We're gonna get a container ID. Docker stop container ID. Okay, we're gonna paste. We're gonna stop this. My Docker image has been stopped. Okay, now I'm gonna go on my first session in which we have deployed all of those things. Okay, as you can see over here, I can able to type all of the commands further. Okay, if your image has been running, okay, after that you need to take another session to close your Docker image, then you can come back to the previous session. Okay, now we're gonna create a container of our application. Our image has been built. Now we're gonna create a container. Okay, for this we need a Docker Hub account. You can create Docker Hub account easily, available, it is freely. Okay, so this is my Docker Hub account. You can create it by using your Gmail ID or anything. Okay, now I'm gonna connect my Docker Hub account and my EC2 server. For that, there is a command Docker login. Okay, just put a Docker login over here. It will gonna ask you your username. Just put your username over here. Then put your password over here. Okay, after writing a password, you will able to see that login succeed command will come. As you can see, my Docker Hub and my EC2 instance has been connected properly. Okay, now we're gonna tag an image as we have seen in the PPT also. After creating an image, we have to tag that image. Now I'm going to tag my image. As you can see, Docker tag my node. This is my image. I'm gonna tag this image. Okay. Over there you can see Docker Hub username you have to put. So I'm gonna what my username is Ayub12. So I'm gonna put that username. So now you can see that I'm gonna change my username Ayub12. Okay, enter. Now I'm gonna push my image to the Docker Hub. As you can see, the command is Docker push. As you can see over here, my image has been started pushing to my Docker Hub. Okay. As you can see, it has been mounted. Everything has been working fine. Library has been added, and I can see that my image has been pushed. Now I'm going to refresh my page of Docker Hub. Okay. As you can see over here, my image has been came over here. Okay. This is my container basically. Okay. I had created my image that has been pushed to the Docker Hub. Simply. Okay. Less than a minute ago, this is my Docker image name. So as we have learned in this, that how to create a Docker file, then converting my Docker file into the Docker image, then Docker image has been converted to my Docker container, and that container I have put to my Docker Hub. Okay, so this is the process. You can create a simple application by using a Docker and a Node.js. That's all.
To know more about Itvedant, visit our website